righty. Now we have OG doing a speech titled The Greatest, or How to Become the Greatest Speaker Ever. OG, without further ado, take it away.
Thank you very much, Mr. Toastmaster Malvern. It's a lot of M's. As you may have heard, I recently participated in the district humorous speech contest. That contest took place on Thursday. I am both happy and sad to report that I finished in third place. I am happy because I had never gotten past the area contest in any speech prior, but I was sad because I did not get first place as I would have hoped. And while my own accolades are good, I was beaten by someone who I don't believe had spent that much time in Toastmasters. And it's something that always strikes me as when someone comes in and they're brand new in Toastmasters, how some people can come in and just absolutely rock it as far as reaching the finals of a district competition, or just seems that they're a natural speaker. And I said to myself, what are the ways to really drill down and tell someone very quickly how to become a better speaker and maybe, in fact, the greatest speaker in the world? So I use my mind, try to use pattern recognition, some things that I had learned, and I'd like to share those with you here today. So just from a show of hands on the Zoom meeting here, how many people are familiar with the Pareto principle? Otherwise known as the 80-20 principle. Show of hands. I'm not seeing any, I see one hand going up. All right, this is awesome. This is great. So the Pareto principle says that 20% of your efforts will lead to 80% of your results. I'll say that again. 20% of your efforts will lead to 80% of your results. And this principle is applied in many different ways. So for example, they did analysis on streets in New York, and it turns out that 20% of the streets in New York City are responsible for 80% of the traffic. Looking at something like Amazon, 20% of the products on Amazon result in 80% of the revenue, or 20% of the books on Amazon results in 80% of all the books on Amazon. So that's very important because it says that if you focus on those 20%, you get 80% of your results. And just as a very topical example for everyone here, I'm sure, it turns out that 80% of your workday, 80% of the work that you get done during the day is really boiled down to those 20% of time. So that hour and a half, that's when you're actually productive. All the other time is spent on getting food, answering phone calls, going to meetings, etc. So what does this have to do with becoming a better speaker? Well, it says that if you can focus on a few skills of public speaking and not trying to do everything, that you will in fact become not only a great speaker, but perhaps the greatest speaker in the world. So what are those skills? I'd like to share one of them that was proven this last weekend at the contest. The first is, it's very important to become a good storyteller. Very important to become a good storyteller. Of the top 3 people who placed, all of us told a story. All of us told a story. And thinking back of almost every contest that I had lost, as far as humorous speech contests are concerned, I almost always lost to someone who either told a story or who told a series of stories. So that says, if you were to want to participate in a contest or just to get better at speaking, you should focus on your storytelling abilities. That's the first thing that I think you should focus on to become a better speaker. The second thing to focus on, in my opinion, would be the pacing of your speech. The example I'll give for that is my brother used to do speech competitions when he was doing his MBA program at the University of Iowa. He asked me, hey, I'm about to compete in about an hour. You got any speaking tips for me? I know you've been doing that whole Toastmasters thing. I didn't have time to watch any of his presentations. I didn't have time to see what he was doing or look at his slides. And frankly, I didn't know what he was talking about anyway. So I just gave him one tip. I said, no matter what, just speak slowly. By speaking slowly, it'll make you look more authoritative. It'll make you look like you know what you're talking about. And so no matter what happens, just make sure that you speak slowly. Not only did he win that competition, but he said he won all his subsequent competitions from there just from that one tip of speaking slowly. I know that your minds are blown right now. You're thinking, oh my goodness, I've wasted all this time coming to all these meetings when all I need to do is become a better storyteller and start talking slower. I know, it's amazing. Think of how I feel being in Toastmasters for 12 years and just figuring this stuff out. The final aspect that you would want to focus on is your voice modulation. So voice modulation comes in two different ways. It turns out that people find impressions very funny. I don't know why, but people find impressions very funny. So to the extent that you're able to do impressions in whatever you're doing or modulate your voice in some other way, either getting louder, getting more quiet, or having that variety in the ways that you can have your pitch, which I think is most ably explained or ably shown in doing voices. That is the third way that you can really enhance your public speaking. So in conclusion, if you really want to be the best public speaker in the world, this goes out especially to our newer speakers, really look at how to implement storytelling into your presentations, speaking slowly, and being able to modulate your voice. And I think if you're able to focus on those things, you may not become the best speaker in the world tomorrow, but you might just find yourself beating me in a humor speech contest, Mr. Toastmaster.
All right. Thank you, OG, for that speech. I definitely agree with a lot of the points that you put in your speech. I definitely think we can all learn something from that, as I myself have taken storytelling classes and have taken lessons from a vocal coach, which definitely agreed with a lot of stuff that you said on voice modulation.